6 most surprising secrets about bees. There are about 20,000 different species of bees in the world, discovered about 30 to 50 million years ago. Bees are found almost everywhere on Earth, with the exception of the North and South Poles. Bees play an important role in agriculture thanks to their pollination ability, in addition to providing essential products for human needs such as honey, beeswax, royal jelly, etc. However, have you ever wondered how honey is made? How is the hive built? What behaviors do bees have that humans deserve to learn? To answer those questions, let's discover 6 interesting secrets about this hard-working little bee. Number 1. The most dangerous bee's venom in the world. In the world, there is a species of bee that, just hearing the name, makes people shiver in fear. That is the Asian giant wasp, whose scientific name is Vespa mandarinia. They are an insect native to temperate and tropical East Asia, known as the quote-unquote killer bee for its venom and ferocity. As for humans, this species of bee is also listed as a dangerous animal because it was responsible for the deaths of at least 6 victims in France, 41 in China's Shaanxi province in 2013. However, according to annual statistics, the number of victims of giant wasp attacks has reached thousands. According to research, their venom attacks the nervous system and threatens the victim's life if they are not treated promptly after being bitten. The sting of the giant wasp monster was about 6 millimeters long. Not only does the Asian giant wasp cause a ghastly obsession, but they also threaten the ecological balance when they have the ability to completely wipe out thousands of beehives by stealing honey and bee pupae. With the ability to fly 100 kilometers a day and a flight speed of about 40 kilometers per hour, the giant wasp can completely hunt and kill a lot of small insects. They do not even pay attention to pollen nectar, but have a preference for crushing mantis and some other large insects for food. Number 2. The bee's nest building skill reaches the pinnacle of wisdom. Have you ever wondered why is the honeycomb made up of small holes with 6 sides? In fact, to come to the design of the beehive as we see it today, this tiny insect had to go through a quote perfecting process that lasted hundreds of thousands of years. Through a long evolutionary process, one of the skills reaching the peak level of bees is quote hot building. The hive is the common home of the entire bee colony where they live and store their food. Therefore, a nest must have the most optimal design for these uses. According to estimates by scientists, to make 1 gram of beeswax, the main material for building beehives, bees must use up to 8 grams of honey, which is a valuable food reserve that determines the survival of the whole herd. Therefore, the nest must be built to have the largest capacity but use the least materials. This conundrum, even for humans, has been solved by the bees with the most perfect design, the 6-sided tube structure. Expert calculations have also confirmed that with the same amount of material, a honeycomb composed of hexagonal holes will create the largest honey storage capacity by minimizing the texture and excess space. Besides its meaning in terms of capacity, this hexagonal structure also provides very good impact resistance for the nest. Number 3. How do bees reproduce? The task of reproduction belongs to the queen bee. The queen bee can produce up to 1,500 eggs per day, which mainly occurs in spring and summer. During her lifetime, the queen bee will lay about 1 million eggs. When mating, male bees will lose their genitals and die soon after. This part will be transferred to the body of the queen bee. If the queen bee mates with the next male bee, the queen will abandon the male bee's reproductive organs and continue to conceive. Bee eggs are very small, white and pear-shaped. After 3 days, the eggs will hatch and the queen bee will lay 1 egg per day. After laying eggs, the queen bee will fly out of the hive for about 1 week and mate with about 15 male bees for 3 days before returning to the hive to prepare to lay eggs. When a new queen is needed, the bees will choose a healthy larva that has just hatched and feed the larva royal milk, a special food that helps the larvae grow rapidly to become a new leader. Number 4. How do bees make honey? Worker bees, at least 98% of the hive population, are bees that produce honey through a complex process. A large number of worker bees are required. No honeybee can produce honey without other members. Specifically, carrier bees suck nectar from flowers and they store the nectar in their second special stomach, specially designed to store honey while flying back to the hive. When they reach the hive, they give the nectar to the bees to, quote, chew. These honey-chewing bees collect the nectar and chew it for about 30 minutes. During chewing, enzymes turn the nectar into a substance that contains honey and water. After chewing, the worker bees diffuse this substance into the hive so that the water can evaporate, causing the honey to contain less water. Water evaporation accelerates as other bees use their wings to fan. When the honey production is over, other bees are responsible for sealing the honey cells with wax so that the product is protected. Bees produce and store their products, honey, royal jelly, propolis, etc. They can survive by eating honey during the winter and pollen-free seasons. By harvesting honey, humans have actually taken away some of this emergency stock. But if harvesting is done properly, the bees will produce more and make up for the lost honey, and they will continue their life cycle without problems. Number 5. The habits of bees. Bees are species with very scientific living habits. When the bees in the swarm die, the worker bees will collect the carcass, do the burial work, and then carry the body out of the hive. The wise bees in the hive will take over the security role, eliminating sick bees or excess male bees when there is a famine. Bees have the ability to identify sick bees by their sense of smell and promptly remove them from the hive. Dead bees are removed and isolated from honey and larvae. The bees will spend the whole day cleaning the hive after a bee dies. Bees also do not defecate in the hive but instead defecate in flight. In addition, bees are highly organized and disciplined. If we observe closely, we can see that worker bees often surround the queen bee at a close distance. First, they want to show respect to the leader bee, and second, this allows the queen bee to have space suitable for commuting without problems. A hive always has an army of worker bees that are constantly on guard. Bees become aggressive if their nest is threatened or attacked. They are ready to destroy anyone who dares to touch the nest. The bees will secrete a chemical that warns other bees so that they fly out to the hive to fight the enemy. Depending on the environmental conditions, the lifespan of bees will also be somewhat different. And each separate position will also determine how long bees live. The queen bee is the longest living species in the colony. Their life expectancy is from 1 to 3 years on average. Worker bees have to work, so in ideal conditions they can live for about 6 months. Male bees are the species with the shortest lifespan. Usually they will die after mating. Their lifespan ranges from 14 to 43 days. Number 6. What are the social structure and organization of bees? Bees are highly social insects like ants and termites. They live in swarms. Each colony has a queen bee, worker bees, young bees, and a clear division of work. Each colony has only one queen bee. Its main purpose is reproduction. After mating with a male bee, it stores sperm in a special area of its body and can lay eggs for the rest of its life. The queen bee's second task is to organize and motivate worker bees to complete the hive's workload. Worker bees, which are underdeveloped female bees, are responsible for nearly all the necessary heavy lifting of the hive, including guarding and building the hive, tending to the queen, cleaning, polishing, feeding, storing, collecting nectar and chewing to turn it into honey through enzymes, and regulating the temperature inside the nest by fanning the wings. As for the male bees, their only job is to fertilize the queen bee, and since they don't have a proboscis, they can't even defend the hive against intruders. The queen bee is larger than the male bee and twice the size of the worker bee. They can lay fertilized or unfertilized eggs. The unfertilized egg becomes a male bee, while the fertilized egg becomes the new worker or queen bee. The bees look so small that we are amazed at the collective spirit and high discipline in the organization of the colony, right? These are the 6 most interesting secrets about bees. Do you know any mysteries about this hardworking insect? Please leave your comments below in the comment section. Goodbye for now and see you in the next videos on our channel.